Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Chasing Optimum. I've got the great Jordan Bulmer on today.
Such an honour.
Yeah.
Back.
Yep. I won't even say anything else. But and Jackson. Jackson doesn't have a microphone today. Jack, you've got a serious camera setup going on there.
I do.
Yeah.
It's happening.
It's all happening. So today I'd like to talk about something a little bit different. Sort of like, not exactly down the Chasing Optimum lane, but it sort of is at the same time, I suppose if you're trying to work out your business or sales or things, it's about the messages I get. I get a lot of messages like this.
Yep.
Like people write every day pretty much. People write things like this. You know, hi Matt, I'm just heading home from a training session, and it's actually the McGrath Way training session. And then it's joined McGrath, blah, blah, blah. It's not just McGrath message. I'm talking sales people, young people, people who are struggling, all sorts of things. I can't answer them all the time. I try, but sometimes they come when there's 50 phone calls going on in the day with other things. And they pretty much have a common thread. I thought I'd reach out and see if you could share any tips or advice for myself. That's what they say. I'm in sales, blah, 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 blah. You know, and it's good that you're here today on this one, because sometimes I don't really know what topic we're going to talk about. Sometimes we have guests. I said to Jackson the other night, I just want to have guests on that relate to Chasing Optimum. I don't want to have all these random people on that aren't, you know, all these things that sort of are just to have guests on for the sake of it. Mm-hmm. But talk about topics about getting the most out of what you're doing. And I think sales is one thing, but it sort of relates to everything. And the amount of people that ask for advice or tips, first of all, when they ask for, can I catch up with you over coffee? I don't catch up for people with coffee, like to have coffee. I just never do it because I don't drink coffee, but it's like I don't have enough time to sit there and catch up with all people during the week for coffee. But I'm happy to answer messages like that.
Plus, it's not your personality.
Yeah, it's not really my personality. Small talk. I find when you catch up with people, you've got to small talk for like 15 minutes or so before you get to the point. I just want to get to the point.
Yeah.
And emails. I do the odd email, but I don't sit there writing an email for half an hour.
You don't have a computer?
I don't use a computer. So Ash answers them, but please don't email. Just send a DM or a text like that's all right. Phone call's better, but don't. I'll just rather ring people. I rang someone the other day. They sent me a message like that, and I rang them back. And they're like, "Whoa, you're ringing me?" I'm like, "Yeah, I don't want to sit here and write a text for 15 minutes." So I just want to address this one about sales and tips. There is no real secret to this. Like you're sitting here as a young agent. Well, you're not that young anymore. You're 30.
Still young.
But you're going into your next season now. And people ask like they've got to work this thing out. Like there's something that what do you got to do to stand out and get results? First of all, it takes time. It takes a lot of time. How long have you been doing it?
Since I was 20.
Since you were 20. So 10 years. And I reckon only now you're getting a bit more, you're looking at it through different eyes.
Yeah.
It's not all about how amazing you look and all these things, because you used to be like screaming at people through a loudspeaker going, I sold this, I sold that, I sold this, I sold that. That's very repelling.
Yeah, I was hell-bent on people knowing that I was doing well.
Yeah.
Now I don't care that much.
You were sort of.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I more care that
you're desperate
that you're happy with me rather than the general public,
and
like the team. Yeah.
Yeah, and because now you're your biggest coach and critic yourself.
Yeah.
Like you ring me now asking great questions, whereas before you were like, oh, can I put my name on that? Oh, can I market this? Oh, can I do this? Oh, I want to put out all these things. And I used to be like, just do a good job.
Yeah.
Like, yes, I understand self-marketing is important. I really do. But there's a nice balance between it. But this whole point is around advice in sales, business, doing well. And there's nothing that someone's going to say that will make you successful.
I agree.
apart from having a mindset of making people feel awesome. That's the whole thing. And I've got a good analogy for this. When I was a kid, quite a while ago, when I was really young, people used to stand in the service stations and fill up your car.
Really?
Yes.
I've never seen that in my lifetime.
That's right.
That's pretty cool.
That's right. But imagine, and I was only thinking about this probably a few weeks ago, if I opened a service station, I would have people standing there and filling up cars. Think about it. You pull up. I hate putting petrol in. Getting out, standing like this on the car, holding it. Imagine you could pull up and they fill your car up like they used to, swipe your card and off you go. Would Tara go there?
Everybody would. It'd be such a standout.
Yeah. Would you go there?
Definitely.
I would. You just keep talking, keep working, whatever you're doing. But we don't have that now. But what a difference. And then people would say, yeah, but you don't walk in and you don't buy your chips and you don't buy this and all that sort of stuff. I'd probably charge more for the petrol.
But even if someone filled your car up and allowed you to go in and do that sort of stuff.
You
but
can.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. But would you pay more for that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would. So the advice on sales is, are you making people feel special enough? Are you? Because they're all looking for this point of difference. But what about the phone call that comes in today? And your whole philosophy is to make this person say, wow. That's your whole philosophy, nothing else. Because people talk about scripts and dialogues, and I just did a video in Ultimate Agent yesterday. I said, I don't rate scripts and dialogues. Yes, I've used them. Yes, I've learnt them. But really, how often do you use them?
Well, I can attest to that. I've been directly trained by you, and there is no scripts and dialogues. Yes, there is in negotiation, but you have said to me, I'd rather you just make more calls and say, Jordan, did you want to sell your house, than have some whole big fancy dialogue and make half the amount. Yeah. It's more like making the effort of doing the call or whatever the task is that's going to facilitate a sale.
I've got this one lady, right? Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we never change scripts and dialogues.
No, never.
Like ever.
Yeah.
Your commission is too much. Okay, well, why is that? Like, I want to know a bit more. Like, there's nothing, I've learnt this commission objection script and dialogue for years, all these different ones. Sure, you might use little bits, like there might be a line in there that you might use somewhere, but I want to know why the person's got a problem with it first, because you can't provide a solution unless you know what the person wants.
Yeah.
And you're not going to rattle off some, I don't use a script when I'm talking to Jackson, ever. I'm talking to him just as a person. Like, how can I help you? What do you need?
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. What do you want? You know
but even sometimes if you haven't built a good enough relationship or done a great enough listing presentation, if you have built a great enough relationship and done a good enough, there shouldn't even be a question. Like, people might say, oh, is that negotiable? No, and it's just gone.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes I feel people just ask for the sake of asking.
Well, that's a good point. This is not so much a sales training one. I really want to talk about the other thing, but that's exactly right. Is it a question or is it an objection? So many times it's a question.
Yeah.
They just want to know. Like, I don't know. Like, how often does someone sell a home or buy a car or whatever? Sometimes they just want, like, do you charge less?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I actually don't. That's what we charge. Oh, okay. And many times an agent or somebody will just lower their price. I used to have a friend that sold tyres. He kept giving me discounts. And I said to him, can you stop giving me discounts? I'm not asking for one. And I understand it's just a way of being nice, but I didn't want one. I go there because of him.
Yeah.
I go there because...
You want to support his business.
Yeah. And I just say to him, stop giving me discounts. I actually don't want them. They're making me feel uncomfortable.
That's great.
Yeah. Because I value him. Keep going.
While you're getting that up, I was just going to give you an example of like sales and sometimes making the call. So, my ute come to a point where I had to do something with it, the work ute, the Hilux.
Yeah.
So I get a call from some administration lady. She says, you got to do something with your ute. So what are my options? She goes, you have to pay it out or take it back or something. And I'm like, okay, well, that's not real helpful. So I'll get somebody to give you a call. No one calls me. I just forget about it. And it's like this huge big thing that I hadn't made a decision with it. But what a missed opportunity. Like, I'm the easiest customer ever. When I bought the car, I said, I want that. I want wheels on it. I want it tinted. I don't want a ribbon on it. Just park it out in the street with the key in the car and I'll just pick it up whenever it's ready. Like, easiest. I didn't even remember negotiated it. I sent my accountant the thing. I said, can you just make sure that that's what in whatever structure it needs to be in? Done. Like, I probably paid more than I should have. No one called me to say, well, we can offer you this much for the car, and we can give you this, or we can
making it easy.
What a huge missed opportunity! Like that was a sale waiting to happen for somebody, but nobody even made the call. It still to this day baffles me because I just needed someone to lead me a little bit one way, and it was done.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the whole thing, making it easy for people. Like, that's right. You're a busy person.
Yeah.
And if you can make it easy for somebody to do business, they'll probably do business with you. And this lady, so her name's Mari. Yep. I've been looking for a house for Mari for maybe 3 years. And I ring her. I think I don't know. She goes hot and cold on things. But she said to me the other day, she goes, we just appreciate how much you help us. And I haven't found them anything yet. I've got close a few times. And they're in their 70s and they're moving from acres to, it's been a bit of a journey. They've been looking for waterfronts and an apartment, things like this. They've gone all the way back to where they started now 3 years ago in an apartment in Terrigal. It's probably where it's best. But I don't ever once say, oh, what a pain. Oh, this and that. Because when I find the right thing, she will pay the right price because it's hard to find. We'll sell her house one day. Do you think she's going to question whether marketing's $5,000 or $6,000? Like it'll be nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
Because the wow has already been built. I'm not doing it for the wow. I'm just doing it because I genuinely just want to help her find a place. Imagine you had 150 of those a year. Imagine just 150 people, no more. That's it. If you had 150 people that you were servicing every, not day, but like took care of, I don't talk to Mari every day. I talk to her maybe when I see something. And I'll randomly call her and say, Mari, I'm still looking, I just can't find anything. So let's say I talk to her twice a month, maybe a bit more, but around that. If I just had 150 of those, what momentum would that attract in the market? Because of all these people going, what does she say about me at dinner parties? I'm sure there's people that say not nice things too.
She'd be a raving fan.
She'd be like, oh, Matt's so good. Like, he's just really on this. I'm in there. I said to Murray, I feel like I'm buying the house. I'm with you. I'll find it for you. Don't worry about it. Do you know?
So when do you, because you and I have had conversations about this, I sometimes cut people if they're being painful or taking too long, or I'm like, these people are never going to buy something. Like, they're actually just draining my time and energy. I'd rather work with somebody. Like, how do you make that decision? And when do you make the decision to go, like, we got to move on here. Like, I got to let you go.
Well, I think you got to have a plan around that. And this is where probably the advice comes in. So let's say it's with buyers. You got to have a big pool of people, thousands. Just put them in there. There's a big
like the database
system, the database that just goes in there and they get alerts and that's it. But you've got to build this other one because you've only got a certain capability. I know there's AI and all these sorts of things. We'll talk about that in a sec. But nothing beats personal touch. Nothing. I don't care who says what.
I agree.
Nothing beats personal touch. You can have all the computers in the world talking to people on the phone. At some day, that's the way it's going to be, I suppose. But still, I don't think anything will beat personal touch. So if Jordan's business unit has this many people in it that you can physically touch through the year and not get frustrated, because you've got an ego problem or an arrogance problem where you're too shiny object, whereas I'm the other way. So I made a decision a long time ago. I want to build relationships with people. You do, but you do it different. You're a little bit. Are they wealthy? Are they going to help me? Like, you're a bit like that. You're a bit like, if I can get a boost from knowing these people, That's how you have been. Whereas I haven't. So that's why the difference between me and you with prospecting, I will call and call and call and call for 20 years. You'll call for 6 months and then be like over it.
Yeah. And I probably draw the line at, do I like you as well?
Well, I think I think everyone does that. I think everybody does that. However, you're too much like that.
It is. You're 100% right.
Yeah.
And I know that. And I try and change that. But there's nothing better than actually working for people that you like.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you can't do that. Otherwise, you won't have a business.
Yeah.
Really. Can't like everybody. 100%. But yeah, you're right. You're right. I do pick and choose.
Yeah. So the whole reason for this thing is, like, what are you really providing people different? Like, really? Like, people are asking me for advice around, and I can't tell you the countless messages. There's so many, and I'm like, what are they looking for? They're asking you for advice. Sure. What am I going to say in a text or a thing? If your whole philosophy was to make people say "wow," and I never forget the taxi driver, and I saw it in a John McGrath seminar maybe 20 years ago. There's one taxi driver he was talking about. I don't know if it's America or Australia. I can't remember. He has tissues. He has water. He has beautiful music, amazingly clean car, opens the door for you, does all this, la, la, la. And he's quite well known, can't remember his name now, but he's a standout in the taxi world. Name one taxi driver.
Can't.
Okay. Well, I don't know his name, but I still hear 20 years later talking about that memorable story that John McGrath said. So it's really about how are you going to stand out through wow. That's what it's about. You don't need to be the most skilled person. If you had a fruit shop, even look at some of the fruit shops. Do they look great?
Not really.
I'm talking the ones you see on the, like.
I'm thinking about George's Fruit Barn.
Yeah, well, there you go. I could name 3 in our area.
Yeah.
They don't really look that great, do they?
Just a fruit shop.
It just like holds a lot of stuff in there, bit raw and ready. But how would you stand out as a fruit shop? How would you?
Look good, smell good, have great staff, good service.
Yeah.
Maybe help people to their car with the groceries.
Yeah. You know, my relationship with Tommy now was all because, one, he came and talked to me, but he carried my groceries to the car from the shop. It was about 5 minutes away. He took them for me. He carried them, and we got talking all the way there. Look at our relationship now.
Yeah.
The guy's literally changed my life. So he boxed it up. Now that guy is a doctor of nutrition. Like he's got a PhD in nutrition. So it's a doctorate. So he carried my boxes. The reception, the checkout person didn't. Think about when you go to a supermarket. I can't stand those scanner things. I rarely go to a supermarket these days because Sue, the housekeeper, does all the shopping. However, when I do go there, you just line up, girl's sitting on the seat there, it doesn't go through, you've got to wait till she's not busy, come over. Imagine they went back the other way. Imagine, you can't even get in those stalls. Imagine there was a supermarket that had more stalls with more people that put them in bags and carried them to your car. How does Tara get the shopping with summer bags, this, that? How many other mums are out there with kids hanging off them, doing all this sort of stuff, with 8 bags of shopping and then get to their car? Imagine. Is that a standout difference?
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is you've got to look for this difference in what you do.
I think about what you said all about Jason Gazelle. You said to me last week, you said, Jason just wants to feel special.
Yeah. One of my best clients, friends, he said to me, point blank, this is when I first met him, I just want to be made to feel special.
But I think everybody wants
everyone.
That. But we just naturally make people feel special that are like Jason Gazelle or somebody like that, like a celebrity or whoever it may be.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
That's the miss.
Donald Trump said somewhere along the line, people keep giving him free. He goes to a restaurant and eats, and they keep giving him free meals. He said, I can pay for it. I'm not the one that needs the free meal. Do you know?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Look for the bit of we call it the lemon moments, but look for the lemon moments. What are they? Staying in contact with someone for 3 years, just patiently helping them try and find a place. Outrun everybody else. Do you know, I don't know about birthdays and all that sort of stuff. I've never really done that, but I know an agent that has, James Tostoff and Glenn Cortino. They do that. They message people on their birthday every time for years. I still get them from them. Things like this. Where is the wow difference in what you do? I think that's the whole point of this. If you're in real estate, I can only talk about real estate because that's all I really know. But if you're in a surf shop, what's the wow difference? If I was in a fruit shop, I'd have like all the organic food over here. When people come in, I'd educate them. I'm like, this is the organic food. This is this food. This is what this is. People don't know. Tara still buys avocados from Coles that aren't organic just because it's easy. But imagine you're an organic food shop. You know how good organic food is? Do you know how good it is? It's amazing. Like the Finelli Organics, where we get them from, they plant in 2.5 acres. I know we know this, but they plant in they've got 45 acres. Plant in 2.5 acres. That's their crop. They don't go and replant that crop for another 2 to 3 years. Just that 2.5 acres. So they go around their farm. So the soil can breathe. So it can get all the bacteria in it again. Amazing stuff. Imagine everybody that came in the fruit shop. Imagine you had an organic fruit shop and you were educating people. And then you were delivering it for free in the neighborhood. I don't know, something. Like, what's the wow thing here?
Can you think of any? I can't actually think of any time recently where I've actually been wowed by a business. Not that I go anywhere, but can you think of anything? I can't. I can't actually go. I was very
Manuel.
Yeah, 20 years ago.
That was like 20-something years ago.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting?
When's the last time you went to a restaurant and they called you and said, Jordan, thanks for coming last night. How was your meal?
I don't think it's ever happened.
Nothing. One call could literally make you a lifetime customer.
I tell you, actually, probably the best experience I've had in a business was with Avoca Beach Dental with Ned. And you called a favour. Yeah. He went in, I was dying, and he fixed my tooth, and his staff were amazing. He checked in with me the next day. Hey, buddy, just thinking about you this morning. It's like 6 o'clock. He was flying to Tamworth. I just wanted to make sure you woke up okay. I actually had that experience with him. It was very, very good. I had one of these other staff call and say, Ned's asked me just to check in again, just to make sure everything's okay. Like, we've got the follow-up procedure. This is what he's wanting to do. He said that you were so good in the chair, but even the whole time, like, he's checking, you're all good. Like, this is what I'm doing, communicating a lot. It was a very good experience. But I don't know what happened with my tooth.
Tara had a similar thing to you.
It was the service.
Absolutely. Tara had a similar thing to you. 3 o'clock in the morning, he took my call. One morning. Ned is a legend.
Well, think about that. He said to me, I haven't done a thing like this in 15 years.
Yeah.
He did it for you, doing a favour to, he did it as a favour to you, for me.
Ned is he's the highest grade. He's gone to America to do all of his things. So he's like a full, I don't know what you call it, like surgeon of surgeons. He teaches surgeons how to operate on mouths and stuff. Yeah. So my crown fell off. He put it on, and at the end he just didn't charge me. I said, no, I've got to pay for it. He goes, no, I didn't. We put it on before and it's come off again, but this is like, I don't know, a year later or something, not even around. But he said, no, I didn't put it. It mustn't have gone on right or something. So those little things, we're talking about that.
Yeah.
So we're talking about those things, those memorable things. The problem is we want everything now, like you do sometimes. We want return on investment now. Whereas to have that delayed focus, I want to be Jordan's real estate person for life. We talk about that for life, but what is that? You got to earn that spot, for life. What does that mean? I'm going to ring Jordan every quarter and keep him up to date with 1-bedroom units in Terrigal. That's what I'm going to do as a real estate agent, because I know he owns 3 of them. Do you think at one point you're going to say, actually, that looks interesting, or I'm going to sell one of mine? You're going to sell one of yours soon, I think, anyway, in Painters Lane. And you go, no, actually, I want a 2-bedroom now, or I want a penthouse with views or whatever. You're going to do something. But imagine understanding you and saying, hey, Jordan, it's Matt from McGrath, I'm just giving you a call. We've just listed this one bedroom, seeing if you've got an appetite for any other ones. No, thanks. Would you get offended from that call?
Not at all.
No, but every time you touch someone like that in a not like annoying way, your emotional bank gets one deposit in the relationship. One deposit in the relationship. One deposit. So that's why over the next 5 years, if I've called you every quarter and just said, hey, Jordan, this is going, or sent you a really cool newsletter out or something, and a mixture of things, not texting. Not texting. Not unless you know the person really well, and it's every now and then. So a good example of that is Gary Teague, who's catching up with us. He's probably him and John McGrath, my number one mentors in life.
Yeah.
The best. I text Gary Teague the other day because he said, just let me know when you want to come down with Jordan. We'll catch up. And he rang me straight back.
Right.
And he said, I knew this, but I texted him because it was like a Saturday morning early. He said, you know me, Matt, I'm not much of a texter. So if I was texting Gary quite a bit,
Yeah.
it'd be a bit of a misalignment.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's nothing better than a call.
Can I ask you this then? So you get messages all the time from people saying, can you help me? Can you give me advice? Whatever it is. Obviously, you've had Gary Teague and John as your mentors. How did you get in front of them? Because what you're getting messaged now, you were once that person 20 years ago trying to like get advice off these guys.
So I sent John McGrath a video 30 years ago. So, hi, Mr. McGrath. My name's Matt Steinwade from Killarney Vale. You're the king of real estate. I'd really like to meet you someday. And he rang me 2 weeks later. But it was the marketing. It was the video that got his attention, not just me contacting him. And Gary Teague actually had an investment property rented with us.
Right.
And I was at Wamberal. It was on the beach. And someone from his company rang up and wanted a proposal to sell it, I think. I didn't know who they were. I said, sure, I'm just going to drive down and meet you. So I drove down and met them and met his son first, and then he introduced me to Gary. And then I was like, whoa, these people are serious.
So do you think that those in our business, in our sales business, they're the wow moments?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You got to make the wow moments.
Yeah.
Like the one at Port Macquarie. It's rented by another agent that time, and this
the Voca Beach
guy,
listing.
Yeah, the older guy rang up and said, can you just send me a price or something? And then I said, oh, sure. So I drove to Port Macquarie straight away, and I rang him. I said, I'm just in the area. Where can I just pop it in? Like, where do you live? And he's like, what do you mean? I said, I'm just in the area. Where's your address, out of interest? I'll just pop the estimate in.
I remember that.
Yeah. And then I did, and we listed it.
He was so impressed.
Yeah, he was. I drove up. The other agent tried to cause trouble because when I was driving up on the second time or the third time, the other agent was causing trouble, like our competitor. And the guy rang me up and said, oh, look, I've heard this. Because I think Trev told him about the listing, and we weren't supposed to. And then anyway, it turned, and I was halfway out, and I said to the owner, I said, oh, well, I'm almost at your house. I've been driving for like 4 hours. He's like, oh, okay. I said, well, can I just pop in and talk about it face to face? Just if you've got a problem, really sorry if something's happened. So I reckon if I didn't, he would have not listed with us. There's something, and that's part of this as well. Emails, no-go zone, especially negotiating or anything important. Sure, get information to people. Like I went yesterday to a really important appointment. I put together a great sort of proposal thing for them, but we bound it like hard copy, and I dropped it off we dropped it off to their houses, didn't we?
Yeah.
I didn't email it to them. I just think it's so dangerous. You email it, you can't talk around it.
There's something about the effort though. The effort of doing it.
It is. That's right. It shows that you care. Handwritten cards.
It has a different energy.
That's right. Handwritten cards, amazing tools. To sit there and write a few handwritten cards. You know, I've studied. When I say studied, I've learned from the very successful people over the years, and I don't even know them. You know, sometimes like Alan Jones, I was listening to him. He writes 200 handwritten cards a day. I know he's in a bit of trouble at the moment, but 200 handwritten cards a day, his whole career, to people that have written into him. So he'd write a handwritten card back. Phenomenal. The number one...
That's crazy.
Yeah, the number one car salesman in America sends handwritten cards to people. There's so many examples I could give you. So I put that in my business a long time ago. That's why I ask you all the time, how many handwritten cards have you done today? And the problem with young people like you is you're not used to that.
No.
You're not used to that. It's even, when I watch you sending text messages, you're talking into the text message to send the text message. I just call. Because there's something about calling and talking to them. And I know we text every now and then. Like I just text one of my owners this morning, but it was like at 6 a.m. and I was thinking about him. And I'm like, hey, da, 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 da. So I wouldn't call at that time. I text, but it still looks like, gee, he's on it. He's thinking about it. So I like that. How do you make most impact? It takes more effort, but how do you make most impact? That's why negotiation, I never text an offer, ever. Never, ever, ever, ever. No response, no nothing, never. Email, never. And I only do an email if it's to the family and I'm like a 3 or 4 people and I've got to put it to them all at the same time. Yeah, very dangerous. I always call, and if you can do it in person, even better. There's something, you know how many deals I've got together because we're sitting across the table?
Yeah, they can feel it.
Yeah. How many times you send a text message to people and they don't respond? And you sit there anxious for the next 4.5 hours thinking, should I send another one? What should I do? Should I terrible. But when you're in front of the person, you look at their eyes and you sort of get a sense of where they're up to. And even with what they're saying. So they might be saying something to you, but their energy is saying something else. And you're like, I don't know about that. Like you've said to me a few times, well, it actually happened there's an agent that's handling one of our listings out near Kilcare. And I said to the agent, who's very experienced, been in it 25, 30 years, I said, I don't know about this. Can I ring the owners? He's like, yeah. So I rang the owner, one of them, and I rang him back and said, that's nowhere near where you think it is. And there's another owner, they weren't sort of getting on, another owner, and I said to him, can you group me in a call with her? And I want to talk to her too. And I did. I got off the phone and I said, that is nothing like you've been saying. That's so not where you think it is, all from one phone call. But if I sat there like working through him and emails and things, you don't know. You don't know. And on the other side, the person feels the same,
Yeah.
We might feel a bit anxious about calling people sometimes, but when you get off the call, the other people appreciate it.
Yeah.
They do. So let's go back to what we're talking about. The advice around this to all, it doesn't even need to be young people getting into the industry. You got to know what you're doing first. You've got to have some sort of system. You've got to understand that. You learn from people, all these different things along the way. But it's really about massive impact. Let me finish on this. John McGrath. What do you say every time you interact with him?
I love him. He's a goat.
He's a goat. But what do you say though? That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. That was amazing.
Yeah. I'm a raving fan of John.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But think about it. That guy takes the time to come up and see us and sit in a room for an hour with us. We go down there, have a group coaching session. He's the CEO of probably Australia's most successful real estate brand. He rings Jordan, said, Geordie, I'm just checking in. How's that listing going?
Yeah.
Geordie, just checking in. How many connects did you make today? Geordie, I saw this listing, and this is true. I saw this listing over here has no price guide on it. I think we should be putting price guide on there.
Yeah, he does too.
Yeah? Does that feeling of his touch point stay with you for weeks and months sometimes? Now even, it's been months. Now we're talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does.
It's because of that the energetic connection that he's bit by bit by bit. He doesn't have to. He could sit there and fire emails off left, right and centre all day long in his pajamas from his bedroom. We wouldn't know. But he doesn't. He doesn't. He makes the effort to do that. He makes you say, wow. And I truly think the success in real estate is nothing more than making people say, wow.